Holly Hale joins us now from the UK, and we've talked to her in the past, and I thought it was well worth it to dive into an intriguing story. And the book is The Day Holly Took on the Government. So, Holly, thanks so much for coming on.
You're welcome.
Tell us what made you write this book?
Because I felt that social services did me wrong, and I wanted to tell the world, wanted the world to know.
And did you think that maybe so many other people probably get lost in this same predicament?
Yes. Yeah.
And was it tough for you to decide to, like you say in the title, take on the government?
Yeah. Yeah, because it felt like as if I was taking on the government, fighting for my grandson, for my daughter.
And so tell us the background of the story for people who don't know your story. What were you specifically trying to have happen that didn't happen?
Well, my daughter was fighting for her son. And I thought that if she couldn't fight for him, I'd fight for him. So then I could give him to her.
Right, because her son was taken away.
Yes.
Yeah. And
she was young.
Yeah.
She was very young.
Yeah, she was young, and she had your grandson, and so then that was all discombobulated, right? And there wasn't the human element wasn't part of this.
What do you mean?
Meaning that they didn't pay attention to the story and the family as much, it sounds like.
No, they just come in and shouted abuse at the top of the voices.
Yeah. So once you decided to do that, what was your first step? What did you do?
What do you mean?
When you decided you were going to fight for your daughter?
Well, I went for a residency order.
And what happened then?
Well, the guardian ad litem, they're never on the grandparents' side. They're always on the side of the social services.
Yeah. And in the book, if somebody reads the book, tell us a little bit more about what you talked about, what happened, some of the stories.
Like what?
So what happened as you were trying to fight and you reached out. You just kept getting you just kept getting nowhere.
No, I was getting nowhere. No, and I was fighting really hard for my grandson, and social services were just shouting abuse. And I had two different social workers to investigate my voice, and they didn't see what social workers were saying, and they told me that. They told me that they weren't seeing. They saw a good mum looking after her two boys.
Yeah.
And I said to the social worker, well, can't you say that to the courts? And they said, no, we can't step on your toes.
Wow. So they told you that, and then right to your face, they tell you that, and then they tell you, well, we can't get involved in that. Wow.
No. Yeah.
Oh, it's so disappointing. So what do you hope people take away from reading The Day Holly Took on the Government?
It's a sad story.
It's a sad story.
Yeah.
But take us to the other side. Where are we now with your grandson?
Well, I speak to him many times on Messenger, and he's got a good relationship with his mother. He sees his mother often. So
that's the good part. The good part is that you're seeing that now. But what happened to him in between? Where was he shuttled around?
Well, the lady who adopted him, her children went to the same school as my daughter. So it shouldn't have been allowed. He shouldn't have not even gone there because there was a conflict of interest.
Right. So there was a problem with that. And luckily now he's come out on the other side. And as you say, now he has a good relationship with his mother.
Yeah. He has a good relationship with his mother.
Yeah. What did your family say about the book, The Day Holly Took on the Government?
Well, they said it wasn't my story to tell.
Right. But you felt like you needed to get it out there.
Yeah, I thought I needed to tell someone. I needed to tell someone.
Well, and I guess the other part of this is, I think for people listening, there's another side of what often happens with families.
My daughter's falling out with me because of the book. She
Yeah.
doesn't want anything to do with me, which
Wow.
is sad. It's really sad.
Right. Do you think eventually that gets repaired?
I hope so. I
Yeah.
hope so.
Yeah. And in the end, it was really, you were looking out for your grandson and your daughter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And for you, does that make you, like you said, you needed to tell the story? Does that make you feel better? Are you feel better that you got that out there in the world?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm glad I told my story.
Yeah. And I do think there is a warning in this for people that, this might not be their story, but they may know other stories and there's another side of the story. And I think that's what's so key.
Yeah,
Right. And what they told you to say, hey, there's nothing here, but we can't step on their toes is shocking. And that would be an awful thing to hear and then have nothing you can do.
no, there's
Yeah.
nothing I could do. They were saying I was a perfect mother, caring, loving mother, and they couldn't step on their toes. Well, it's not their case. They said it's not their case.
Wow. So I think the moral of the story is there's always another side of the story, and boy, to have that happen. But to have that released, have that cathartic release that you got it out there. And the book is on Amazon the day Holly took on the government. Holly Hale, thanks for sharing your story.
You're welcome.